Good afternoon, friends. I'm Ms. Natalie from the Accokeek branch of Prince George's County Memorial Library System, and welcome to Crafternoon. Today's craft is going to be a mermaid bookmark. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been reading a lot lately, and no matter how I try, I can't quite finish the whole book in one sitting. Some of them are a little bit long, so I need at least one good bookmark. I thought since this book is all about underwater and such, I would have a nice mermaid themed bookmark. We are going to be making this kind of bookmark in a couple different ways today. We are going to need something to decorate the bookmark. I'm going to use some colored pencils, but you could use some crayons or some markers or whatever you have around. We're going to need a piece of paper. I'm going to use some heavy-duty paper. It's just a little bit thicker than printer paper, not much. You could use printer paper if you want to, and that's cool too. You could use construction paper, you could use cardstock. Newspaper you could use too, but it's a little bit flimsy. It won't last as long. To cut the paper down to the size we want, we're going to use a pair of scissors. I recommend using safety scissors if you've got them at home. If you don't, you might want to have a grown-up help you with this. We are going to be making this fish scale pattern by tracing with a pencil. And what we're going to be tracing doesn't really matter, but it should be small and round. This is a little bottle cap that I'm going to trace. And for a special kind of mermaid tail at the end, we're going to need a little tape. That's totally optional. The first thing that we're going to want to do is cut a piece of paper the size and shape that we want for our bookmark. Now, it doesn't much matter what size and what shape, as long as you like it, and as long as it's small enough that it can go in your book. I'm going to make a little triangle today because that's what that first example was. And then we are going to make these fish scale patterns. We're going to do that by taking the cap and putting it halfway on and halfway off so that you get a nice little half circle when it's traced. That's not super neat, but it's neat enough. We're going to do the same thing next to it, even though it goes off the page a little bit. And then the same thing on the other side. Pretty good. Then we're going to put the cap so that it touches the edge. Now when we trace this bottom part here, it'll be from this line to this line so that it looks like the scale is peeking out from underneath. And then we'll do it next door. And then next to that one too. It's a little wobbly, but you know what? That's okay. Even on Fish in Nature, it's not exactly perfect. Then we're going to line up our cap so that it touches the bottom of the circle that we made up there. And we're going to trace just the bottom from this line to this line so that this one pokes out from between these two. I am rushing just a little bit, which makes this not quite as perfect as it might be, but I still think it looks cute. I just know that this one took me several minutes to get just right. I don't think y'all want to watch me do this for several minutes. Or maybe you do. Maybe this is very relaxing for you. I don't know. If it is, you can watch it again. There, that's a little bit better. And then down here at the bottom, even though it goes off the page a little bit. All right, and there's the pattern that we are going to use. Now we could just leave it black and white. I made this one, and I think that looks very grown up and classy. Just black and white, very straightforward. Took my time, all the curves are just right. But I want this one to be very pretty like that one. And so we are going to be using some colored pencils. You could use crayons or markers. Since the design goes right up to the edge, if you're using markers, you might want to put this on another piece of paper. I'm just using colored pencils, so that is not as much of a concern. Now you'll see already that this is a slightly different pattern than the example. This one has an entire scale colored in one color, and this one I did pink in the middle, and then a little bit of purple, and then a little bit of green. And it's all valid. You can make whatever kind of mermaid tail you want to make. I thought I would make some kind of mermaidy stripes. I don't know enough about fish to say with 100% certainty, but I don't recall any yellow and purple striped fish. Okay, and then this other one will be purple. Purple and yellow go pretty well together because they are on opposite sides of the color wheel. To make purple, you add red and blue together, and yellow is the only primary color that doesn't slide in there, so they're very striking when you put them together. Red and green would be the same. Orange and blue would be the same. Ooh, orange and blue would make a really good looking mermaid tail. That's a thought for next time. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think I'll put just a few lines of purple on here. Just because I liked the way that that one turned out. But there aren't any rules about any of it. Now, there's another one that I made earlier, and that's more in the shape of a mermaid's tail with these fins on the end, and it's kind of curvy like the back of a fish. I think I'm going to do that with this one too. To make this shape here, we are going to put it so that the curved side of the scale is facing away from me. Because when you've got a fish's tail, the curved sides of the scales go back towards the back. And then I'm going to just make the end a little bit pointy there. Oops. Yeah, like that one, I think. Maybe even a little bit more pointy than that. And then we need to make these fins. We're going to take some of that paper that we used to make the first part of the bookmark, and we are going to cut 2 teardrop shapes. I'm going to do them at the same time so they match. I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of paper and overlap them, and then I'm going to make the pointy side and then go out and do the curvy side. And I'm going to have cut them both at the same time. And that makes it so that they match, and I don't have to worry about measuring anything. and I'm going to overlap them and put them there. That's pretty good. I think that they should be yellow and purple like the rest. So I'm going to do some lines. And then just color it in with this yellow over here. To make it attach, we're going to use a little bit of tape. I'm going to need 2 pieces of tape. I'm going to take each one of those small pieces and I'm going to roll it. Roll it into a little tape tube so that it is sticky on all sides. I'll put that on the back of this. And I'm going to attach that to there, like so. I'm going to make another tape tube with this other one. I'm going to put that on the back there. And I'm going to cover it up like that. It's not quite as even. That first one was pretty even. That's a little bit better. And now we have a couple different kinds of nice mermaid bookmark. Yep, pretty into both of those. But I wonder if we could make it even fancier than that. I've still got this one from earlier. I wonder how I could make it even fancier. I think I'll cut the end right along the line that I made there. And then instead of being flat or even pointy at the end, it'll be curvy like the scales. Curvy things are well known to be fancy. Yep, I'm liking that. I think I'm going to make this one a rainbow fish. I'm going to put some different colors on here. To be all different colors. I don't think I really want a pattern. I think I want it to be all over the place. So when I color these in, I'm not gonna really count them. I'm not gonna put them next to each other. I'm just gonna look at it in any old place where I want to put a red scale. That's where I'm gonna put a red scale. Because I'm the boss of this art project. It gets to go exactly how I want it to go. Over here, I think. The thing about art is that sometimes we get really caught up in making it look exactly how the example looks, or something like that, when art is about being creative. So you should just look inside of you and see how you think it should go too. Maybe one more right over here. And then I'm going to do some yellow ones. But it's going to be the same way. It doesn't really matter where the yellow ones go. Just any old place I feel like it. Maybe one up here at the top. There aren't as many as the red ones, but you know what? That is fine. Because now I'm going to do some blue ones. Blue, I think, is one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to do a lot of blue ones. Oops, coloring right on top of that other one now. This one is going to be blue, and this one is going to be blue. This one down here is going to be blue. This one in the corner is going to be blue, and this one's going to be blue as well. And now for some greens. I don't know if I've ever seen a fish in real life that had a bunch of different colors on it. Fish usually pick just a few colors and then they just roll like that. But this isn't a real fish. This is a made-up mermaid. And so this mermaid is going to be whatever colors I want her to be. I have this light green too. I think that'll look really nice next to this dark green. Pink. It's kind of a pinky purple, which is a pretty classic color for mermaids that people make because pink can be very fancy, and when people are making mermaids, they often go a very fancy route. And one more color I think I'm going to do. I've got gray. I think gray will be good. I'll pretend that it's like silvery gray. Looks pretty good to me. So that's a few different ones that we can make. Here's the one that I made at first. Here's a couple that we made together. Here's a very classy black and white one. You can make yours pretty much any way that you want now that you know the secret of overlapping circles making very convincing scales. Thank you guys so much for coming and doing crafts with me today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Enjoy the rest of summer at your library, and I'll see you later. Bye.